The army that tried to turn rats into anti-tank weapons. Forced armies to consider ideas so extreme, they were later buried, denied, or quietly erased from history. One of those ideas involved something small and alive. This is the story of the army that tried to turn rats into anti-tank weapons. And the reason historians still argue about it today. By 1941, German panzer tanks were tearing through Eastern Europe. Bullets bounced off their armor. Artillery was limited. And the Soviet Union was losing tanks faster than it could replace them. According to military historian John Erickson, early Soviet anti-tank defenses were dangerously under-equipped during the first years of Operation Barbarossa. So Soviet engineers were ordered to think differently. Not bigger weapons, smaller ones. The idea was based on a simple observation. Animals seek warmth, and tanks, especially in winter, were among the warmest machines on the battlefield. Soviet engineers had already experimented with anti-tank dogs, a program officially documented in Red Army archives. But lesser-known reports, referenced later in a 1946 U.S. Army intelligence bulletin, mention experiments involving small animals carrying explosive charges, including rats and mice. The plan was horrifyingly simple. Small timed explosives were attached using lightweight harnesses. The animals were conditioned to associate heat with safety. Running engines, warm metal plates, confined spaces. They weren't trained to attack. They were trained to hide. Once the animal crawled beneath a tank toward the engine or fuel compartment, the charge would detonate, destroying the vehicle from underneath. No gunfire. No warning. But there was a problem no engineer could solve. Animals don't recognize uniforms. According to Soviet after-action summaries cited by John Erickson in The Road to Stalingrad, early training exercises ended in disaster. The animals crawled under the nearest warm tanks, which were often Soviet tanks. Several vehicles were destroyed during testing. The program was temporarily suspended. Official Soviet documents released decades later refer only vaguely to biological explosive devices tested in limited conditions. No numbers, no photos, no battlefield confirmation. But German Panzer Division logs from early 1943 describe unexplained under-vehicle explosions without visible mines or artillery damage. Historians still debate whether these incidents were coincidence or something else. By 1944, the Soviet Union shifted focus to rockets and shaped charges. Animal weapons quietly disappeared from doctrine. After the war, the topic vanished almost entirely. Because it failed? Because it was unethical? Or because it worked just enough to scare everyone into silence? So here's the question. Was this one of the strangest failures in military history? Or a weapon that history chose to forget? Leave your thoughts in the comments. And in the next episode, we'll talk about the weapons so disturbing. On next episode. By 1942, Britain was losing the war in Europe.